So hello everyone. Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello. So let me. So if you could able to listen to me, are you able to listen to me? Just say hi or something like that. Yeah. Hello. Hello, sir. So just wait for a couple of seconds so that we can start our just general discussion. So I'm trying to. So, are you able to see me on Facebook? So, I'm trying to be on Facebook as well. Hello. Yes, sir. So, right now, I'm both on Facebook. Okay. So, hopefully, I'm visible on both the places on the YouTube Live as well as Facebook. Okay. Good. So, hello all. So my name is Chirant, and so I'll just be talking to you regarding how will you prepare for environment, ecology, and biodiversity. So, uh, so first of all, I would like to say that uh, should I come like this? I think this angle would be perfect, right? It should be a right angle. Okay. So, hello, good afternoon. This is Chirant, and today I'll be speaking a few things about environment ecology and how to prepare. It is one of the very important topics in UPSC. So a lot of questions do come from environment and ecology. So if you look into the previous trend, past from 2013 onwards, the number of questions from prelims from environment, ecology, and biodiversity part in prelims have actually increased. And since then the question trend is going like 15 to 25 questions. So in 2016 there were around 28 questions just from environment, ecology, and biodiversity. So last year there were 21 questions. So it's very, very important topic to be deal with, right? So how to start your preparation? Basically, when you start reading your preparation, so the first and foremost thing is please bifurcate the subject. Environment is not pure in its sense. It's a science, it's a discipline. So when you start your preparation, you can see that many of the topics will will actually clash with environment. There are many topics which comes in environment as well as your other GS studies, right? So say for example, certain concepts like the biomes, that are kind of ecosystems, and biospheres, global warming, all these you can see in geography. So you'll study. So some of the environmental concepts like biogeochemicals are a part of geography. So when you speak about physics, in physics you'll be studying different kinds of waves, the wavelength, and other things. So the same thing will be applied in your environment topic. So chemistry, same in chemistry, you'll be talking about atoms, molecules, and again you will be speaking, the same in environment. We will be studying about carbon dioxide, nitrous dioxide as a part of the pollution, right? So you will be studying certain aspects of the plants and animals in botany and biology. So the same thing you will be studying in wildlife and their habits, in their behavior. So in environment. So what I'm trying to say is environment has its roots in almost every subject. Okay, they have their roots in law, they have roots in history, so they have economical concepts, so many places. So don't try to read it as a thing. Try to link it with all other topics which you prepare for UPSC. That's one thing. So the second thing which you need to know is to bifurcate or differentiate the subject into ecology, environment, and biodiversity. Okay, so many of the topics do overlap in ecology and environment, but the thing is, you have to actually separate it. Then only you can remember it. Better, right? So initially, when you're doing ecology, then you should be talking, you should start your preparation with the basics of ecology, which you can study from the NCERT. And after that, in ecology, you will be, talking about different kinds of levels of ecological studies. And while studying that, start with the population ecology, then community ecology, ecosystem ecology, biomes, and biosphere. And while studying those headings, you will be studying different concepts related to ecology, like it may be ecotone, edge effect, or ecological pyramids, or successions, plant successions. And so Nidhi has joined, and Apurva has joined. So hello, Nidhi, and hello, Apurva. So all these things need to be dealt in ecology. And so once you are done with ecology and all its concepts, make sure that all the ecological concepts are put under this, studied under these concepts. Start with that, and that will be the easy part, and that will be the easy thing to be done in ecology. And after that, coming to environment. So in environment, the best way to approach is to start studying with the problems. Okay, problems of environment. So hello, Deepika. So in environment, when you say problems, so you'll start with uh, you know um, the deforestation. You'll start with climate change. Okay, so forest fires, so and all these topics. So let me see, somebody is commenting. Hello, good afternoon. So which would like to refer, go through for a detailed syllabus. See, Amrit, so there is no particular book where you can actually get a detailed syllabus. Everywhere there are some advantages, some disadvantages. So many people, talk about the book Shankar IAS Academy. But the thing is, it is bulky, and many of the things have not been included in that. So there are many books to study for environment. So there is no one book where you can get the entire syllabus. Okay, so there is no book written. So that's why you have to get information from other thing. So I would like to put it in my words, to conclude this, Amrit. So the best book to refer through the detailed syllabus, which would give you all other answers, is your own book. The notes which you make out of your hand, so which you make referring to other sources. Okay, so you might refer the basic NCERT books. You might refer the environmental chapter from the India Air book. So you might visit some of the places, some of the websites, authentic websites like Ministry of Environment, Forest, Wild Wildlife, no, World Wildlife Fund, WWF, WII. Okay, all right. So and again we can visit some of the IUCN website, IPCC websites. So from there, what is related to your syllabus, if you collect it and if you make the notes, that will be a right book for you. Okay. So good afternoon, Yuvraj. So any other doubts? Any anything to say about the things? So you just say books for environment for UPSC. You will get a list of books. I can even say that. But the best thing to do is make the notes of your own. There is no one book which gives you the entire information. Okay. All right. So I was talking about environment, the problems related to environment, deforestation, forest fires, climate change, and losing of sustainability, loss of sustainable, non-sustainable exploitations. Okay, pollution, mainly pollution. So in that topics, most of the things. So you want to get the sources. So see, there are many books written on IAS. There is a book called Shankar IAS Academy. So there is a book by Majid Hussain, okay, Environment and Ecology. There's a book by KBC Nano. So which, what I'm saying is, what are the books I would refer. So I refer all these things where I read some 5 to 6 textbooks, and from that textbooks, whatever is there in the syllabus, accordingly I make my own notes, and then I'll teach. Okay, so that is when, like, you prepare the food and eat the food prepared by others. That is what the concept is. So you are saying, like, what are the ingredients to cook the food. So the ingredients would be these things, multiple websites, multiple books, and getting the sources from everything. Then you will be forming your own notes, which will be perfect. Okay, other than your notes, none other materials will be optimum. See, nobody has till now caught the UPSC exactly, like how the questions are being asked and where exactly the sources have been there. So if that get exposed, then there would be no much value for the UPSC questions. So that's the reason why we say that the book or the textbook or the notebook which you make yourself, referring to all these sources, listening to lectures, especially the class notes which you prepare while going to any institution. So that is the best source to look into. Okay, so or otherwise, Amrit, in the market there is no a particular single book where you can actually refer to environmental topics. Okay. Anyways, so if you doesn't have any doubts, I'll continue with the approach. So I was talking about environmental problems. Environmental problems, I said, start with deforestation, forest fires, pollution, climate change, and other things. So individually take these things, and there are within these topics there are some static parts, there are some current affairs parts. So, say if you take pollution, last year there were 9 questions in prelims just from pollution, and while reading it, you will be reading some static portions. So, what is air pollution? What are the sources? What are the solutions? What are the impacts? Okay, so certain questions come from that static part, but also you have to update that static part with the current affairs. Say for example, there was air pollution in Delhi and it was in alarming rate, so a lot of people panicked. So the world community were looking into Delhi pollution. So you should be reading it as news as well as you should be making the notes out of it. So what are the effects, why it is happening, and update your notes, right? So what are the initiatives taken by the government, the odd even policy or air quality index? Okay, so or coming up with Bharat Stage 6 on, all these are current affairs. So you won't get this in textbooks or any of the books. So your notes, what you have made out of the static part, so that you will be getting from the current affairs. While reading the newspaper, if you come across anything related to solution, so there will be mention of air quality index. Just update your notes. Include that in your notes. So that becomes the perfect notes, right? So in environment, after that you'll be having certain aspects under climate change. If you take climate change, so you will be studying some static parts, historical aspects of climate change, like how the Earth Summit happened. So United Nations Environment Program, then 1992 Earth Summit, then what are the outcomes of that? Either it may be UNFCCC or biodiversity convention on biodiversity. What are the protocols which they have conducted, mainly concentrating on Kyoto Protocol and Paris Summit. Okay, so different protocols. Every year there will be one COP, right? Even this year COP is happening. And what are the outcomes? So you should be waiting for that. You should be aware that these are the dates on which COP is happening, and you should be waiting for that news to come in the newspaper. Okay, so after it comes, just update what are the initiatives, what was taken. So that is where the questions will be asked from UPSC, right? So once you are done with all the problems, then go with the legislation. In environment legislation, you have many acts, many policies. Like you have the forest policies and different acts regarding the environment: Indian Forest Act, Wildlife Protection Act, Wildlife Conservation Act, then Environment Protection Act, Biodiversity Act, Forest Rights Act. These are the 6 main acts which you need to study individually, because one or two questions definitely come from these acts. Okay, so uh, do the legislation properly, and then go to wildlife. In wildlife, you have to study the IUCN, its red list data, all the critically endangered animals, endangered animals, vulnerable animals. So these questions, sometimes one or two questions do come from this. They'll be directly asking which one of the following are not critically endangered, or like if these are included in this schedule, so that means it gets equal protection as tiger. So these kind of questions are then. So first of all, refer to the previous year questions. So that will give you an insight on what exactly UPSC is willing to they what they want you to know. Okay, so once you know that, you will be able to catch exactly what is that things which needs to be picked up from these multiple sources of books, and also the um, current affairs, the newspaper which you are studying, right? So wildlife, there are many things going on. There is project, census, tiger census going on, and there are many projects run by the government of India, like the project Tiger, Project Lion, Gharial conservation, or vulture conservation, Great Indian Bustard, rescue, or on slow leopard, okay, Project Snow Leopard. So many of the things regarding wildlife. So once you put it in, like in a arranged manner, in a sequential manner, so you will be able to grasp the things. And every time when you finish a topic, so make sure that you will be answering the questions asked in the previous year prelims regarding that topic. Okay, so you have to have a list of past, at least past 10 year question papers with you. And once you have that 10 years question paper, segregate yourself, segregate and resegregate. First of all, segregate according to subject wise: history, polity, geography, economics, environment. Okay, so come within that environment, you have to do that, environment current affairs, environment statistics, environment pollution. So you will get a couple of questions which are asked from every section. So as you complete the syllabus in that section, try to go back to that particular subdivision and answer the questions asked from that part. Okay. So once you do it, then you will definitely be confident that any question asked from this part, I will be able to answer. Okay. So once you do that, then I don't think there should be any question left which is unanswered. Okay. So this is our overall approach about environment and ecology. Coming to biodiversity, basically, keep it as separate. Usually, what these books do, what these materials and textbooks do, they'll just jumble up. Okay, there'll be one topic on environment, then suddenly they'll jump to biodiversity, animal density, then again come back to environment, then again somewhere climate change is there. There is no sequential arrangement of things. So unless you do that, you will not able to you will be able to read it. So once you read it, you will not be able to relay remember it, because you'll be having any kind of sexual or any kind of link. And if you cannot remember it, then you cannot reproduce it in your examinations. So that is how it goes. So biodiversity, keep it as separate. So study it under separate heading. What is biodiversity? What is the value of biodiversity? What are the different kinds of biodiversity? Okay, why it is important, right? So what is biodiversity loss? That will be a solution for all the environment and ecological problems, right? Biodiversity conservation. So biodiversity hotspots, different hotspots in India. Total how many hotspots are there? How individual hotspot is being addressed, and all these things. So that will keep one packet of biodiversity as such. So you'll be keeping aside, and whenever you need to know, update any information on biodiversity. Say for example, in biodiversity hotspot, you'll be studying Western Ghats. Okay, so while studying Western Ghats, you have to study the Kasturi Rangan committee, the Rangarajan committee, Kasturi Rangarajan committee, Gadgil committee. So what are its outcomes? What did it say? So if you know that much of information, that is enough. So for example, I'll tell you the question which was asked regarding that. So the famous Rangarajan committee was formed on which of the following topics? They'll give, so Western Ghats for bank monetization, like these, like that, and all. So you should be able to able to remember certain aspects, that comes to you. So that instinct comes to you only when you thoroughly read the previous year question papers, right? So, and according to the previous year question papers, with your static notes, please update your current affairs. So that is all the things. If you have any questions, any doubts, so let me know, please ask me. I'll be able to answer you guys. Any doubts? Any? questions, anything which you want me to talk in particular? So basically, Tamil Nadu NCRT books are good, but it will be just a repetition. Whatever the things which you get it in the actual NCRT books. In fact, Amrit, it's not Tamil Nadu NCRT books, it's a Tamil Nadu State Board books. Okay. So NCRT is only one, whatever we are having, it's at national level. So the book which is produced by Tamil Nadu board, so those are very good for certain aspects. So like history, okay, and economics. So, but NCRT books and other things, there are most of the things are interacted. Either you choose that or you choose NCRT. So because Tamil Nadu goes little regional specific, they'll be talking much more about the national parks and sanctuaries which are present in that region, Tamil Nadu. But they wouldn't be concentrating much on the national scale. But the NCRT talks pan India. It talks about all the national parks, all the sanctuaries, and it talks in a national sense. So that's why, as it is not Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, so it is preferable to read the NCRT books as compared to the Tamil Nadu books. So Divyam is asking, how can we consolidate current affairs given in different months in the environment section? That's what Divyam. As I say, this is not a one-time match. You sit now to entirely study the current affairs for past 1 year. It's not possible. You cannot synthesize it. So that's the reason when you start your preparation, so take your preparation along with the current affairs. So you do not have to consolidate the current affairs, right? So you are reading newspaper now from today if you start, and if you are targeting for 2021. So this is the day of your preparation. So today you start, you will be reading question papers. You have your statics notes, being ready. So in that you will be having a separate, notes for environmental current affairs. So if you know the syllabus, if you have done a good homework on the previous year question papers, so then today's newspaper, if there is any news, like recently there was news on a whale. They have removed around 1 ton of garbage from the body of a whale. So that takes you to the marine pollution, water pollution. How much of pollution is there? How much of pollution we are making? What is plastic pollution? What are microbeads? So all these are around. You can include all these things in that. So once you have done this, you do not have to do that. That news keep on coming. Maybe sometimes later you just can ignore it, or like plastic pollution, solid waste pollution. So all these things are the current affairs. So if you keep on tracking the current affairs on a daily basis, I don't think you have to consolidate all the current affairs in different months. Even months are not required. So you have to be very regular. Even if you do it weekly wise, so consolidate all the things in a week, write it down, and leave it. So next you keep on adding, keep on adding to it. And finally, when you go, what you have to do is just revise whatever you have written multiple times. Okay. So you do not have to consolidate the things. Consolidation is done by many institutions, so who will provide you with a bulky magazine at the end of the year. See this year roundup, 2019 roundup, 20 roundup. So that will never help you. That roundup you cannot digest it in 1 week or 15 days. Even if you read everything in 1 day, or like if you, so 1 day it's not possible. 1 week or 15 days, you cannot remember, you cannot memorize it. So it fits in your memory so that you can recall during the examination only when you have a very long term approach. Okay. So that is what that is how you have to deal with the current affairs. Okay. So we are preparing for 2020. Foundational batch. So it will go through current affairs related environment sustainability. Yes, Amit. See, it is not true that UPSC asks the current affairs only of the year which is 1 year preceding the examination. So current affairs might come from any time. So if you are an actual newspaper reader, you might have noticed that there will be a hot topic, and that hot topic will be keep on repeating. They'll keep on coming in the news for many a times, right? So Delhi pollution, the air pollution, so air quality index that came many times in the news, many a times. If there is, like, not just environment, if you take any topic, if you take polity, and in polity, if there is a UPSC verdict, Supreme Court verdict taking place, so that news comes almost every day for 1 month. There'll be some of the other news. So that lawyer said these, these were the discussions, these were today's outcome. So some kind of updates will be keep coming. That's the topic. If you get the topic, and if you keep watching, and finally you can make some news which contains some concepts, some facts, and some events which you can actually make use in the UPSC examinations, right? So if you are starting from here, keep an eye on current affairs so that you don't start immediately in 2021 or 22 reading current affairs. Slowly keep a watch and make it as a habit. Make the newspaper reading as a habit, and that habit will actually make the things go smooth in the year 2021 and 22. That year will be much more helpful for you. So in 2021 and 22, whatever the news which comes, so either half of them will be already, like, it be being discussed in 20 to 21, which needs some updation as you go. Okay. And by that time, meanwhile, you have to make your foundation very strong. Okay, the static part, which is not going to state change even in 2022 or 2025. So some basic parts, like the basic science aspects of climate change, or scientific aspects of pollution, pollutants, list of pollutants, their sources. Okay, so some basic concepts of ecology, all these things static, make it strong. After that, what you are left with is only updation of your current affairs. But doesn't mean that you have to study the current affairs of only 2021 to 22. So from now itself, if you have actually start the preparation, so go along with that. All right. Good afternoon, the bullet. So any other doubts which you want me to discuss? So anything which I can help with? Some of the documents which are from the government, even though it is not for UPSC, so you have to read it. Just like India Air Book or Indian State Forest Report 2019, it was released in on December 31st. So this report will actually help you to fetch many marks. In prelims, like, 3 or 4 questions will be directly based on this report, and you can increase your score multiple times in your chances of getting high marks in your mains using the Indian State Forest Report. So what it contains is an exact authentic data about what is the forest cover, what is the forest area, what is the recorded forest area or tree cover, total forest area, then how much of state, what has happened in these states, so what state has decreased the forest cover. So this statistics, even though you cannot make use of it directly, you can include somewhere in your answers while writing the essay. So if you could just give the reference of ISFR 2019 and say this is, like, say Mizoram has actually having the highest forest in percentage, but there's huge scale deforestation. So it's the number one state where the deforestation is happening, like, Madhya Pradesh having a high large area. So likewise, information in prelims, they'll be asked the questions like, um, we arrange the following states in the increasing of the order of their forest area or increasing of order of forest cover or percentage. So that is one thing where you can make use of this information. Or otherwise, in mains, you can actually include the statistics regarding mangroves, regarding coral reefs, regarding the satellite data. Okay, what are the satellites? What are the technologies used to record this? All these things will be very helpful. What are the main aspects we have to follow while choosing optional? Actually, I am foundation batch course and I have attended examination in 2020. Okay. See, choosing the mains is like choosing a life partner. Okay. So you should always be very uh, okay. So you should be actually taking the option very carefully. So usually there is a trend, like nowadays geography or option is getting much more higher marks. So you're getting public ad as highest marks. There the trend is of political science or something like that. So my belief is there is nothing like that. Usually you do not have a particular option which you have to choose to score high marks. Whatever the option you choose, say if you are reading your GS, there are many topics, like you come across history, you come across polity, you come across economics. Okay, you come across many aspects. So, or you may not be interested in any of the things, thinking it as a heavy, high, stress. So if that is the case, then you might think about taking literatures as one of your option, or anthropology. So while studying your GS, you might have to choose the option which is actually interested to you. So if you are very much comfortable, or if you fall in love with the optionals which you would like to study any number of books, not for examination purpose but for your personal interest and as a hobby, so that is when that is the right option for you. So because guys, this is a true fact that every year from every optional some students get selected. Okay, and in every year many students write the most preferred option and they fail. So it is not in the option which is there, it is in how well you prepare for that option. Okay, how well you write the answers, how well you score. Finally, it is the marks which actually matters, and not the subject through which you have achieved that marks. Okay, so that's the reason, don't worry about the optional which option to take. So whatever the subject which is making you fall in love with, take that option and read it like your passion. Okay, it should run in your veins. That is when you will be able to score very high marks and write a very internal strong answers. So you should know, you will know it by default, if you choose such kind of subject. Say for example, if you are very good at very much interested in economics, so economics would be your option. There is nothing like people cannot come rank one writing economics option. Okay, you can do that, but how well you study, how well you prepare, and how well you present it in the examination, that is what is the what all it matters. Okay. So that is what you can do. So there are many issues which do come in the newspapers regarding environment. Okay, so that needs to be noted. There is no list of things like current affairs which you actually can go through. So instead of studying the current affairs of environment and ecology and biodiversity in a go, so try to include those current affairs within the statistics part. As you study the static parts of your environment ecology, so try to include them in the notes. Okay, so just to quote some of the examples of that. So recently there was Australian fire. You will get the Australian fire, and Many of the marsupials, many of the organisms died. There is a huge loss of forest land. So having that in current affairs, just take that current affairs, some of the statistics, why it happened and other things. So here you have your static part, forest fires, which you will default study whether the forest fires is there in the news or not. So you'll be studying and you'll be making the list of reasons for these forest fires. So include that, update your notes, enrich your notes with the current reasons which you might have found it very important. Okay, so you have your climate change notes. You know what is climate change, how the global warming happens, how the greenhouse effect happens, and you'll be having an update on Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement. So you'll be having all the COPs, what all happened. So COP 2020. So this is what it happened, just update it, take that information. So these are the highlights and outcomes of that. So there might be question directly from that. Okay, so there are chances that they might ask questions from so questions from the previous things, like they'll ask about carbon credit, they'll ask about joint implementation, they'll ask about clean development mechanism. So these are some of the things which were the current affairs in 1997, but you should study it as a static of Kyoto Protocol. Okay, so when you update it, some of the aspects, one or the other option, they will come up with the current aspects. Okay, so there was a question from AK, what to study from forest report. So forest report, first of all, study what is the comparison between 2019 and 17. What are the new things? Say, for example, in 2019 Indian State Forest Report, so as compared to 2017 report, so there were a few things included. They included the the forests outside the forest, resources outside the forest. They have come up with a new topic on forest fires. They have come up with new topic on the people who are dependent on the forests. Okay, so they have come up with the biodiversity chapter, okay, separate chapter on biodiversity in the new forest report. So compare what is a new thing. It's already given. It's actually given in the report itself, like how it is different from the previous report. What are the new things which is included? One thing. Second thing, study the salient features. What is the forest cover? What is the tree cover? What is the recorded forest area? What is the green uh, belt? Okay, so which is given, and what is the status of forest. What are the states in which it has been increased, what are the states in which it has been decreased. So which is highest in percentage, at least top 5 of them. Okay, so which is highest in terms of percentage or area. So what is regarding mangroves, whether the mangroves are increased. So you should be having a comparative analysis. Okay, say for example, I'll just give you two statements just to give you a very good insight on how to study the Indian State Forest Report. So 2018 prelims, there was a question. There is a question. So according to the recent mangrove recently released Indian State Forest Report 2017. So all the 12 states and union territories which contains mangroves have recorded a positive growth, and there is none of the state have recorded a negative growth. So if you have to choose this answer whether it's true or false, so the thing is, the answer is this is a true statement. All the states have recorded positive increase in mangroves. Now, coming to 2020, if in 2020 prelims there is an option that according to the recently released Indian State Forest Report 2019, uh, you know, there is no negative growth recorded in any of the mangrove growing states in a negative sense. None of them have recorded negative growth. Then now this statement is wrong, because in 2019, if you look into the statistics, 3 of the states have recorded negative growth in mangroves, which was not there in 2017. So that kind of thing should be remembered. That is where the UPSC catches you. So have you actually gone through the report, or you're just digesting whatever the book, or like the ready-made thing given to you to just swallow it and try to answer the questions? So that is not how it goes, right? So you should be able to read it in that sense. Those kind of information should be obtained from the State Forest Report. All right. So that is the thing, that is all the overall approach which you have to come up with. So if you have any doubts, okay, so if you have anything where you can do, maybe like you know there could be some class where all the topics of environment are related, but I need you to obtain that current topics and please include it in the static port. That is when your notes become optimum. It will help you a lot. So that is all. If you do not have any doubts, so mangrove minimize the loss because of cyclones. They also reduce degradation. Okay, so mangroves first of all are degraded by natural as well as anthropogenic causes. So there are pollution which is coming down and affecting the mangrove growth. So mangroves do destroy from cyclones. So in fact, when we say the mangrove minimization at this year is not because of the cyclone, uh, it is because of the deforestation and the anthropogenic activities happening in the mangroves, because of habitat degradation, because of loss of biodiversity, because of marine pollution, because of global warming. There are many reasons. But when you are linking mangroves with cyclones, the thing is mangroves could also actually be a remedy for cyclones. So mangroves, when it is grown in a particular fashion, we call it as fishbone technique. When it is grown in a herringbone technique, so this actually reduces the impact on the shores. So the cyclones or the tsunamis, when it comes, as they pass through the mangroves, the bunch of the rows of trees which are grown as a mangrove tree, they will actually reduce the impact on the of the cyclones and tsunamis. Okay, so by the time they reach the coastal area, they cause minimal damage. They don't cause much damage, which happens without mangroves. Okay, so that's the thing. So if you have any doubts, any questions, I'll be taking the questions. Please let me know. Welcome, AK. Anytime. I'm here to solve the questions. So have any questions? Let me ask me. Solid waste management rules. Yes, solid waste management rules was it is not a current affair. It's actually a static port. When you study solid waste pollution under pollution, so you will be discussing it along with that. So the government came up with solid waste management rules in 2016, and after that it has amended. So basically it is to say how the solid waste needs to be managed. So what are the rules and which needs to be followed by different authorities? What is the responsibility at individual level? So they have categorized them into three waste, like degradable, biodegradable, and hazardous waste. So how they have to be segregated? There was a question in 2019. I'll tell you how the question came up. Okay, how can you tackle this? So you will be studying solid waste management rules 2016. In that you will be studying, like at the individual level, what is the responsibility? Like individual household level, you will be segregating the solid waste into hazard, degradable, non-degradable, and hazardous, and you will be handing it over to the safai karmacharis, so the garbage pickers. Okay, so not garbage pickers, the municipal authorities who are are the garbages, and there is a responsibility for the government, the municipal authorities, to select an area where all these dump could be done. So individual industries are having responsible how to dispose them. All these are the set of rules which you have to study. Okay, So 2018 there was an amendment to this. It said that, like, the street vendors should carry the waste disposal along with that. So all the garbage pitchers should be registered, and they should have a uh, they should form a database for them. So, and all the other things, these are the amendments. There are a set of things which you have to read and remember. And the question which was asked in 2019, it said that, the according to solid waste management rules 2016, so which one of the following is right? In that, they have asked that the state government, the authorities, has to find a particular area, or the place where all this solid waste can be dumped, either as a landfill or as a solid, or as a sanitary landfill, or a dump. Okay, so this is one which you have read. So there are many three other options which says that, the government has to do reduce the pollution, so the authorities has to do this, that, which is not there in the list of things which you have come across in solid management rules 2016. So that is one, the thing, one of the thing which you have to do that. So if I could remember that question, I don't think I have the thing I have. Okay, sorry. So I searched, thought there was a question in my database, but there was, the so question was something like that. So, but if you could, read the solid waste management as a part of pollution under land pollution, then I don't think you will be able to miss that question. Okay. So that is when what you do, as soon as you complete pollution, as you complete the solid waste pollution or light pollution, so you go back to the previous years. In the first year you will be getting is the questions of 2019. So in 2019 this question has been asked. So try to solve the question, whatever you have read from the syllabus. Waste generation are also category. Yeah, of course. The option one, I think you have the question AK. So the generator has to segregate into five categories. It's not five categories. As I said, it is three categories. You know the answer, right? So it is given in the solid waste management rules. It is three categories and not the five categories. So Namami Gange, usually I studied when you're studying that is a current affairs, right? Namami Gange is a current affairs topic. We are trying to stop the pollution of Ganga River. Okay. So when you have to study, it's an initiative from the government, and you will be putting it as a current affairs as soon as you study water pollution. You're studying water pollution. What are the effects? What are the impacts and other things? Then you'll be studying this as a current affair. Okay, so what is Namami Gange? What is the project amount? So which government? When was it started? What are the initiative under this? What are the steps taken by the government to make this successful and other things? Okay, so that is how you have to prepare for the questions. So the question would come like, consider the following statements regarding the Namo. It's not Namo Gange Amrit, it's Namami Gange. Okay, so Namami Gange project. So it has an overlay, outlay of these many crores for these many years. So it was started in this year. Okay, so and it will be having, it will restrict all the industries from doing this, that. So when you have that information about that, so definitely you can answer any question which is asked from that project. But the thing is, the first and foremost thing is, you should be able to know that this topic called Namami Gange comes under environment, and it should be updated in my notes under the pollution part. Okay, that's the thing. Next session will let you know. Okay, so uh, see, basically I'm not a I'm not taking a session, but I'm having a discussion kind of thing with you to help you prepare the environment, ecology and biodiversity course. Okay, so if this is the thing, if you have any more questions, so kindly shoot. So that's it. If you have any more doubts, so just can post it. Okay, so I'll keep coming. Yes. So thank you so much. If it was interactive, it was good. Just this was just a kind of friendly discussion. Don't take it as a serious class. So feel free to ask any of the questions. We are here to say. So you are in a right hands of Amit sir. So don't worry about that. If there is any question, you can post it on the portal. We'll be able to answer it. So regarding any of the questions. So this was very nice interacting with you guys. So thank you so much. So please prepare well. All the best and happy reading. So this is me, Chirant, signing off. Thank you so much. So on the you have that Facebook channel. So message it, send a message there, right? Okay. So thank you so much. This is what I had to offer today. So this is me signing off. See you very soon. All the best and have a nice day.